We're in the thick of it. SKOL, Vikings go. Kirk Cousins give Kirk up the dough. Sam Donald. I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting carried away. Tell me that's not a banger of a song, though. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Thick of it, SKOL of it. Made it last week. Welcome back to another episode on the Jimmy Skull 68 podcast. Thank you guys for joining me today. It is Thursday, October 17th, and the Vikings face off against the Detroit Lions at 1 o'clock Eastern Time in Minnesota, U.S. Bank Stadium. This is the second divisional game of the year for the Minnesota Vikings. This is the Detroit Lions' first divisional game. And I'm quite nervous. The Lions are a damn good team. Although they did suffer a huge loss, that being Aiden Hutchinson, their edge defensive end, outside linebacker, whatever the hell you want to refer to him as, which is a huge blow for them. And, I hope he gets better, but it does help out the Vikings. I don't wish injury upon anybody other than Sean Payton. Screw him, Bountygate. But it sucks. It just sucks. Injuries are part of the game, though. We saw J.J. McCarthy get injured prior to this year starting, so it happens to everybody, and it really sucks, but you just have to move on. The season doesn't stop for anyone. But, big game for Minnesota. The Vikings are 5-0 right now, undefeated, one of the only two undefeated teams in the league, and the only other undefeated team is the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Vikes are really going to have to show out in this game. The Lions are a damn good squad. Jared Goff seems to be in his own. He had a kind of a rocky start, and he's picking it up, playing very well. The Lions have that two-headed beast at the running back position, so that's going to be it's going to be a huge test for the Vikings' run defense. And the Vikings will be without Blake Cashman, who is one of our leading tacklers, which is a big blow. But again, injuries are a part of the game. Speaking of injuries, at the running back position for the Minnesota Vikings, Aaron Jones is, as of now, questionable. If I had to put my money on it, I do not think he will be playing. I think he has a hip injury that he suffered against the Jets in London. So we'll have to just keep up with that. I know he didn't practice. He hasn't practiced all week, so that's not a good sign. And the Vikings just reacquired Cam Akers, who they traded for last year, let him walk this offseason, and we just traded for him again. We traded a conditional 6th-round pick, and we got Cam Akers and a conditional 7th-round pick. I don't really know the conditions on it, but it doesn't really matter. I do love Cam Akers. It's great to have him back. Last year, he had a strong start and went down with an Achilles tear, similar to the Kirk injury. And it really stunk for him, I know, because he's been injury-riddled almost his entire career. But, Vikings didn't choose to re-sign him, and they let him walk, and he went to the Texans, where he's had a pretty good year. He scored a touchdown against the Vikings when they played. The only touchdown the Texans scored, LOL. But yes, he rejoined the squad. Love to have Cam Akers back. He's a funny-ass guy. Another injury thing, though, T.J. Hawkinson. He could be playing. If you look on the fantasy report or the projections in fantasy, he is projected to get points. Not that means anything, but fantasy thinks he's going to play maybe. I don't know yet either on that, but he was a limited participant in practice today. So we're going to, again, have to just keep tabs on him. That would be, Johnny Mutt and Josh Oliver have been playing really good. But it would be great to have Hawkinson, who can be a game changer, especially against his former team, the Detroit Lions. But again, this Detroit Lions team, they're not to be messed with. They are arguably a top 3 NFL team right now, and trust me, I hate saying it as much as I hate hearing it, but it is the truth. And on this podcast, we speak the truth with some purple sunglasses, but it's just what we do. This is really going to be a true test of Brian Flores and his blitzing scheme. If we can get to Jared Goff, force him out of the pocket, force him to throw under pressure, we have a very high chance to win this football game. The odds right now sit at Vikings favored by 2.5, which I thought was a lot. I thought thought the Lions would be favored, or at best a pick'em. But Vegas likes the Vikings, which I don't know how I feel about that. We've been underdogs almost all year, and I kind of like being the underdog. But Vegas is as Vegas does, and we are the favorites. We've covered every single spread up to this point. Can we continue? We'll have to find out on Sunday. Oh man, this one's going to be a brutal game though. And it's very paramount that the Vikings come out and score quick, because the Lions are going to score a touchdown at least on one of their first 2 drives, in my opinion. So we need to make sure we match them. When they hit us in the mouth, we have to hit back harder. I trust in KOC. I trust in his game. I mean, that Jets game, and if you watched my last podcast, you could tell I was not very pleased on that Jets game. I woke up at 9, started out really good, up 17-0. The Vikings slowly choked it away. Ended up winning, got the interception at the end there. Shout out Stephon Gilmore. That was massive. He's been great this year. Got to keep it going into the next week. Coming off the bye, we've had 2 weeks to prepare for this Detroit Lions team. We got to get it done. And it starts with the trenches. The O-line's got to play better. The D-line needs to continue to do what they've been doing. They kind of slowed down a little bit against the Jets, so they're going to have to re-pick it up. I want to see Harrison Smith flying around making plays. We got to get Justin Jefferson involved early. Justin Jefferson is notorious for torching the Lions, so expect a big game from him. Jordan Addison will get his touches too, but the running back position, as I mentioned earlier, if Aaron Jones isn't ready to go, Ty Chandler, you're the guy who's been on the team the longest. Obviously, we got Cam Akers, who I expect to get touches too, but Cam Akers doesn't know all the plays like you do. So this is a legacy game for Mr. Ty Chandler. We need him. We need him now. We need him. We can't have him fumbling. We can't have him doing all that jazz. And he hasn't looked extremely great this year. He hasn't looked bad, but he has not looked great. We really, really need him to step it up, and we need the O-line to step it up as well. But that all stems from the quarterback play too. Sam Darnold can't play like he did against the Jets. If you play like that, we're not going to win the game. The Lions are a different team than the Jets. Their offense is actually competent. And we can't keep relying on these turnovers to bail us out. Not that they're not a part of the game, and not that, credit goes to, the defense for getting the turnovers, but we can't rely on getting 3 turnovers a game. That's just unrealistic. If it happens, it happens. It's great. But if it doesn't, which it probably won't, we're just gonna have to proceed. And I'm nervous, and I will not be gambling on this game. I will not be gambling at all. I wouldn't even call it a trap game, but it's very hard to go 6-0 in this league. Very, very hard. And it's going to be tough. We're going to really have to show out. We were due in for a bad game. We had a bad game against the Jets. Walked out of London by the skin of our teeth with that victory. Again, you can't do that against the Lions. We got to come out to play. And we can't do the thing where we get up early and then just proceed not to score. We can't do that either, It's got to be a steady pace. If we're going to lay it on them, we got to lay it on them and keep it going. Keep it going. But anyways, it's a big game. Prediction, Vikings win. Hello, folks. I'm sorry about that. Had a buddy walk in the door. It is what it is. But back to what I was saying. Score prediction here. I think the Vikings squeak it out in overtime, winning 27-24. Will Reichard hitting the game winner. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be decided in the trenches. No Aiden Hutchinson for the Lions. No Blake Cashman for the Vikings. 2 key players, not on either side of the ball. Folks, we're just going to have to sit and watch, and we're going to have to hope that the 2 weeks the Vikings have had coming off the bye paid off. Anyways, folks, thank you again for joining me. I hope everybody has a safe and blessed weekend. I will catch you guys on Monday, hopefully with a bottle of champagne. But anyways, until next time, SKOL Vikes, I'm out.
Mwah.